you tease about the upcoming season?
Let's see. What can I tease about the upcoming season? Well, we don't know too much because we don't get to read the scripts beforehand. But we're going to, we're going to keep digging in. We kind of ended on pretty much of a heavy cliffhanger, just with the immigration stuff, with the union stuff. But much like we've always done, we're not going to shy away with dealing with it,
right.
And we're going to deal with it respectfully and straight up, and with some good comedy.
And the fallout of the birds is still happening, obviously. So how is that going to kind of...
Yeah, that's definitely still happening. I think Garrett is definitely going to be dealing with his own PTSD from losing his entire shoe collection, which is something very important to him. Having to come to terms with, the type of, he got himself into that mess, It was all because he wanted some tackies from, the cage, which led to the birds, and then he couldn't, control himself with Dina. So, Garrett's got some lessons to learn.
Do you think there's any other important topics that should be covered by the show it handles it so well. It's handled the immigration matter so well. It's handled all these things. Is there anything else it needs to handle?
I don't know if I'd say anything else that it needs to handle, but I think it just needs to continue to hold a mirror up to the world that it's representing. Mm-hmm. So, I think as long as we're being all honest and keeping the show grounded and having fun with it, I think we're doing the right thing and we're doing what we need to be doing.
Do the scripts shock you?
Do the scripts shock me?
Yeah, when you read them, when you're like...
No. I don't get shocked. By the scripts. I definitely with the after reading the Mateo getting arrested by ICE script, mm-hmm. I was impressed and excited that we were going to actually do it on screen instead of have it be sort of like this happened and we didn't see it because it's not super funny, but I enjoy it. So I definitely don't get too shocked. But I'm a big fan of The Walking Dead, so it's pretty hard to shock me.
That'll do it.
Now the show does a good job of mixing up who's working with who for the different characters.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that you'd really like to work more with that you have a lot of fun?
Well, I always have a lot of fun with Mark McKinney. So I'd always love to see anytime Garrett and Glenn can get together. I think it always makes for a fun storyline.
Obviously there's a lack of representation for differently abled people on television.
Yeah.
And so what do you hope that the character of Garrett is doing for that community?
Well, I hope that it's showing a character who is differently abled and somebody who uses a wheelchair in a positive light, and also in a light of as just somebody else. Just just somebody else who's working in the society, and the character isn't based off of he's a guy who uses a wheelchair. It just happens to be a part of his character. The same with people who use wheelchairs. It's not their entire identity. And so that's what really excited me about playing the character, was to have an opportunity to have some more representation of that type of person who's out there in the workforce every day.
Yeah.
And so I hope that it leads to more inclusion of characters with disabilities, and I hope it leads to more inclusion of actors with disabilities.
Yes. Thank you. Have you had any super interesting fan reactions? Not necessarily because he's in a wheelchair, but because of just the situation that you guys are in.
All the fan interactions are super interesting. We do this show on a set, and there's no live audience there, and we wrap and we go home, and I watch the episodes at home with my wife and my daughter or something, and so I do a lot of live theater. That's where I kind of came from, so I don't really get that interaction too often, and so to come to something like Comic-Con or even on social media, every time there's a cool fan interaction, it's always very interesting. What people connect to, there's tons of guys who are bald with beards who are like, hey dude, thanks, bald guy with beard on there, being cool, so it's great. Anytime you realize that you've connected with somebody, it's a really satisfying feeling, and I think the reason why a lot of us have gotten into this field of work.
I feel like this show has gained new followers and new watchers, audience every season. What's that like to feel that growth?
It's great, because it's something that we all thought was great to begin with. you know, but it also isn't like a, you know, I mean, obviously America is huge, but it's not like a celebrity-driven show. You look at some other shows on television, it's like, oh, this, you know, huge people and this huge people. I mean, this is a real show. It's an ensemble show, and you know, sometimes those are kind of like almost evergreen to people. But you know, the more and more people who find the show and really get into it and realize how incredible these like everyday people are that we're playing, you know, I think that it just keeps getting bigger. And obviously, you know, nowadays people can find the show anywhere. They're finding it on Hulu, NBC.com, and so I just hope it keeps growing and more people get to find it.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.